Guys, March Madness is right around the corner, and we are doing our part to make sure you are educated on who's who when it comes to everybody that we think is going to be in the mix for March Madness. We're breaking down. I kind of pick from various conferences to try to mix it up a little bit and try to work in, all sorts of teams that, we might be potentially seeing in the tournament. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down each one of these, briefly and kind of let you know what we like, what we don't like about each of them. Also, we want you to stick around after we go through these 5 teams because Scotty's got a coming in hot that's going to knock your socks off. He's really fired up about one particular topic tonight, and we want to make sure you guys stick around to see him get lit up when it comes to what he's going to be discussing later. So, all right, here we go. Let's talk about Arkansas first. Now, you see in the middle of your screen their tournament resumes for their history of the program. So 34 appearances, 6 Final Fours, 1 championship in 1994. Last year, lost to number 2 Duke in the regional final. Now, Arkansas was a team that, a lot of people... yeah, no I in Arkansas, Rick. There's no I's in... Sure? There's no I's in any of the teams that we have.
Should be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I don't need to. I took all those out of the equation this time around. But lost to Duke in the semifinal, number 2. And so we're going to be breaking them down here. So currently, Arkansas Razorbacks 19 and 11. They're tied, or they're 8th in the SEC currently. They've had some ups and downs. They've been kind of all over the map, and they've lost to some really good teams. Some most notably last couple games, they're on 2-game losing streak, losing to Alabama and Tennessee, both Alabama number 2, Tennessee number 12. So they had a 4-game losing streak, losing actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 6 at the middle of the season, but started out the season pretty strong with only 1 loss to number 10 Creighton over that time. But Scotty, we're going to be talking about a couple things here. So we have KenPom rankings here, and those are KenPom rankings pretty much rank based off of statistics. Again, there's a lot of statistics that go into those, so we're not going to dive into all those. Pretty much what it's saying is, these are the top teams based off of statistics, win-loss record and adjusted offense, defense, all sorts of things. All of that goes into how they rank these teams. Also, we're going to talk about quadrants. So quadrant wins are based off of a couple different areas of how they categorize quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4 wins. So we'll break those down too. So Scotty, let's talk about KenPom and then all their quad wins. Explain what those mean and where the Arkansas Razorbacks rank.
Yeah, I mean, the Arkansas Razorbacks have not had the year I think they were in line thinking they were going to have. Listen, this is a team that, Chris, I think you might know them well. They beat your Gonzaga Bulldogs.
They did.
In the Sweet 16 last year to make it to the Elite 8 and losing a tough matchup. And everyone was just like, all right, this team's made it. Arkansas is for real. And they haven't had that year.
Nope.
Not even close. Actually, they're worse this year, in my opinion, than they were last year. It's not a great team. You thought with the coaching and stuff that they would figure this out. They don't have any interior game at all. Like they don't have a big. That's concerning. They kind of like play at a fast pace, but they like shoot poorly, low percentage. They play really, really fast, but they don't. I don't know if they play efficient, Chris. And that's the concern for me. They are wildly loved by KenPom. KenPom loves Arkansas, right?
Yeah.
KenPom has them as 15th overall.
15th.
They actually love their defense. 11th overall to 51st in the country overall in offensive play. But I don't know if I see that. When we're looking at bracketology right now, I'm looking right now, Chris. Like, where are they? Where are they?
Let me see.
Are they in right now?
So they're kind of back and forth. They should be in. I think on the bracketology I saw them 8. They're 8th.
They're an 8 seed. Oh yeah. So they're in. They're all guard play. Which is good in March Madness, but like, I don't know. And they have experience from last year. And I appreciate that, and making an Elite 8 run where no one thought they could do it. I just don't know. I love Eric Musselman. I do. Their head coach. I love Musselman. But outside of that, what does this team have that like makes us believe? They're garbage in the SEC conference. Their record in the SEC,
not good,
which is not that strong.
Not good.
It's terrible. Terrible.
Also,
they're 8th in the SEC right now.
Also, quad 1. So, and we'll break that down. So, quad 1, quadrants kind of tell you the quality of wins over the course of the season. So, quadrant 1 are the big ones where it's a home record. You face a home record of 1 through 30, a neutral record of 1 through 50 ranking, and then away record of 1 through 75 across the board. So with all that being said, quad 1, they are 3-8, which isn't great against some of the best teams in the country. So they have Kentucky, Texas A&M, and San Diego State are their only quad 1 wins. And then the rest, they just been getting owned by everybody else in that quadrant. So it's not looking great so if you're taking this and applying it to the tournament and you're saying, all right, how are they going to fare? Well, if you take a look at how they've done so far this season against quality teams, it hasn't been great. So I mean,
quad 1 is essentially tournament teams.
Pretty much.
Everything else is whatever. They're 3-8 against teams that are likely to make the tournament.
Yeah. So
an 8 seed, I'll bet against that, Chris.
If you're looking at Arkansas Razorbacks, this is going to be, when it comes to choosing your bracket, a team that you might want to just really take a hard look at when that first matchup, whoever they end up drawing, and it might be worth your while to consider the fact that Arkansas may not be as strong as you would think they would be. By the way, they did lose Jalen Williams, one of their stars from last year, to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which I thought was one of the bigger, reasons why he was a big influence on that team last year. So, they just haven't been able to backfill some of that.
No, it's super hard to replace one guy.
Yeah.
Kansas had to replace like 4 guys, and they had a really hard time doing it while they're top 3 team in the country.
Broncos, what's going on, my friend? Welcome in.
Bronx?
What's up, Broncos? How we doing? We got what is the bracket? It was like a little league, where in the last few rounds of the tourney, you represent your region instead of your school/location, says Rick. What I think you said, what if?
What if the bracket was like Little League?
Where I meant what if.
I don't really represent in Little League either. So, but I would be. I don't know if I'd be down for that. I like, that's like cheering for a team in your conference. I don't really do that.
Yeah, I
don't know.
So Arkansas, take with a grain of salt this year. Keep an eye on them. They probably are a team that are going to be a little bit iffy when it comes to choosing them.
Abort immediately.
Yeah, I would say you got to really be gambling to see. I mean, I think the ceiling for them, absolute ceiling, is making it to the second round and getting knocked out in the second round. I don't even see that potentially happening. I mean, I think the bracketology here currently has them going against, let's see, Pittsburgh in the bracket. So, I mean, that's not locked in by any means, but just.
I'm probably gonna pick Arkansas for a round, and I'll hate myself, but and they'll probably win actually.
Yeah,
I like Musselman. I love their coach.
He's a good coach.
Love the coach.
He's turned that program around quite a bit since he's been there.
They can play some defense. They just, I don't know. You can't win in a crappy SEC conference. I don't get it.
They're going to rely a lot on Ricky Council as well. Obviously, he's pictured here, but he is averaging 16.6 points for them, and a big contributing factor offensively for the Razorbacks. So, all right, so there you go. There's Arkansas. Let's move on to the next one. A team that you were familiar with, you see quite a bit, Scotty, and that's Kansas State. Kansas State. All that beautiful purple, right?
I mean, some purple's beautiful, not K-State.
31 tournament appearances as far as their resume goes, 4 Final Fours, no championships to be accounted for. But last time they were in, it was 2019. They lost to UC Irvine in the first round, 70-64. So K-State has definitely taken a step forward this year competitively. They're ranked number 18th in KenPom at the very juncture, and they are currently 22-7, 4th in the Big 12, behind Baylor, Texas, and Kansas. Major losses come to TCU, number 17 TCU, number 12 Iowa State, number 8 Kansas, number 10 Texas, and a couple losses back to back with Texas Tech and Oklahoma. So with that being said, Scotty, you see a lot of these matchups. You've seen them head-to-head with Kansas. What are your thoughts on the Kansas State Wildcats?
Shocked, Chris. They've had a great year. Great year. And this is a good team. This team will be a 3 seed in the tournament, I think. Props to Jerome Tang, the new head coach of Kansas State, doing a phenomenal job getting in there. Listen, this is a team that's going to finish either second or third in the Big 12, which is saying a lot. Like, the Big 12 is the best conference in the country. No one saw this coming. They don't really have, outside of losing early on at Butler, they don't have bad losses. They lost at TCU, at Iowa State, at Kansas, against Texas. Like, maybe at Oklahoma was a bad loss, but like, other than that, this team is solid. And not to mention, they're blowing teams out at times at home. Like tonight, 85-69 against Oklahoma. They're dominating. They beat Kansas once. They beat a lot of these teams in conference, obviously being 11-6 right now in conference play, in the best conference bar none, not even remotely close in the country, is the Big 12. This team's played phenomenally well. What's their upside? I don't know. KenPom has them as 18th, as you talked about. Mostly a defensive squad, which makes sense. They've turned it on there. But they can get hot at the right time. They have, 3 or 4 guys that can score the bucket. Keontae Johnson's their leader, along with Marquise Noel. Those are the 2 main scorers that they have, but they can get around other positions. I kind of like this team. This team's battle tested. It's tough. They are tough. Tang's tough. I think this team wins a couple games in March Madness, to me.
Yeah, I think they can go a couple rounds. I think this could be a team that you definitely have coming out of the first round. Currently in the bracketology, they have them ranked number 2 in their in the East corner of the bracket right now. I'd
be surprised if they get a 2. I think they're closer to a 3.
It's going to be somewhere in that range, 2 or 3 at this very juncture. But again, a quality team. Quadrant 1 which are those teams that are most likely going to be tournament level teams. They're 9-6, so they have a above 500 record against those quality teams. They have some big wins against some ranked teams over the course of the season and some really good ranked teams. So I think that, in the conference that they're in, a stronger conference, they've been battle tested over the course of the season, and they've come out in a great situation record wise, and they're putting themselves in position to have a nice solid seed when it comes to jumping in at a number 2 or a number 3. So my ceiling for them, I could see this to potentially, if I'm looking at the bracketology, a Sweet 16 run could be a nice spot, maybe even an Elite 8. I don't know if that might be a little bit tougher, but I could see at least a Sweet 16 for Kansas State.
Yeah. K-State ain't doing a damn thing unless they bring back the ghost of Michael Beasley. Michael Beasley was great. I'm trying to remember with Beasley. They either lost in the first round or lost in the second round of March Madness. So he didn't do anything in the tournament. In the 1 year he was at K-State. He was only there 1 year, but phenomenal that year. But to say they can't do anything without a guy that didn't do anything with K-State is interesting.
So, interesting team. Keep an eye out for K-State. They could be a team that you might want to have go a round or two, and they're a quality team. So keep them on your radar. All right, let's do it. Talk about your Kansas Jayhawks. Obviously, Scotty, 25-5, leading the Big 12, and probably going to win it, right? I think as of if they locked it in,
it's looking. Let me double check now. If TCU beats Texas tonight, which they won by 2, so it's locked. It's not even a shared title. Kansas plays at Texas on Saturday, but it doesn't matter.
Okay, so
they have won the Big 12 again.
There you go. So Kansas, Big 12 champs. They are ranked number 7th in the Ken Pom rankings, and you look at their quad 1 wins. Let's just say, Scotty, it's pretty impressive, man. 15-5 against really good quality teams in the country. I would say that's dominating compared to what we see from other teams with their quadrant 1 wins.
The second most wins of quadrant 1 in the nation is 11.
Yeah,
Baylor.
And
now they get a lot of opportunities being in the Big 12, but still, when you're 15 compared to number 2 is 11, that's a big deal. I think that's a huge deal. So, the fact that they are as good as they are, Jalen Wilson, Grady Dick, and company, all of those guys. You have a nice solid roster there. Now, with that being said, they're locked in from what we can tell, and I think they should be a 1 seed. They're locked into the 1 seed, right? They're not going anything lower than 1. I would think not. They'd have to lose at Texas and maybe lose at the first round of the Big 12 tournament, but even then, I would think not.
And all of their losses this season have come to ranked opponents. Number 22 Tennessee early on in the season. Then they had that 3-game losing streak, the gauntlet between Kansas State, TCU, and Baylor, all quality teams. And then following up 3 games later with Iowa State. So honestly, the resume for the Jayhawks, it's hard to go against the national champions at this point with what they've put together. Obviously, Scotty, we're really high on the Jayhawks, and we can see them going. This is a tournament winning club right here. They can literally win it again this year. So we already know that that's their ceiling. What's going to hold Kansas back this year?
Oh, it's pretty easy. They don't have a big. Kansas is known. You think of Kansas, you always think they have a large presence in the middle of the paint that can score on one side, defend on the other. They don't have that. They start KJ Adams as their center, and he's like 6'8" probably. They have some centers kind of off their bench, but Usually it's like Ernie Uday Jr. who like gets in foul trouble immediately and is just a freshman and doesn't really know what he's doing out there. So their biggest weakness is they don't have a controller in the paint on either side of the ball. They're great otherwise, like Jalen Wilson, going to be Big 12 Player of the Year. Grady Dick's a freshman that can shoot the lights out. A lot of people call out they don't have point guard play, and I'm like, DeJuan Harris was their point guard last year. He's not flashy. He's small. He's not athletic, but he does all the right things. So I'm not worried about their point guard play. I'm really only worried about the fact that they just don't have a presence on the inside, and that could seal their fate for sure. But this team is very flawed, but talented in the sense, could they win it again? Yes. Is this the best team Kansas has ever had? Not even close. But I'd also say last year's team wasn't close to the best team they ever had, and they won it all. What Kansas has going for them, Chris, is the best coach in college basketball.
He knows his way around the basketball court, and he knows how to win, right? I mean, I think that's another advantage that we don't really. I mean, we talked about it a little bit with Musselman. We talked a lot about, how we focus a lot on the players, but we don't really always talk about. Sometimes you just have a better coach that just draws up. That's a big aspect of basketball, right? So when you have a guy that's obviously one of the best coaches in the country, I think that, you're always going to be competitive, regardless if you have holes. You can figure out ways to coach through some of those discrepancies when it comes to your lineup going against bad matchups. I think that that's a big factor that helps the Kansas Jayhawks. Even though they do have maybe a couple holes, they can still work around it.
I think every team has holes. Let's just get this out there.
Yeah.
There's no great team in college basketball. Not even close to like an all-time college basketball team this year. It's wide open. It's wide open.
I mean, this could be the year where you see random teams and just you can see higher seeds in the tournament that end up making it. Get some of the top seeds get knocked out, some of the lower seeds get in and make it further than you would expect. So keep an eye on that. But Kansas is one of those teams that it's as close to a sure thing as you could probably get. When it comes to feeling good about their chances. But again, you never know. You never know. So, but your boys are looking good, though.
Yeah, they'll be a 1 seed, and we'll see what happens.
By the way, you're looking at their tournament resume, and it's pretty impressive here. 4 championships, 16 Final Fours, 50 appearances. This is the only graphic that I've made that doesn't have lost to somebody on this.
Most winning program of all time. There's a ton of things we could list off if we have enough time. How great Kansas is, Chris.
Best team in Kansas, clearly. I think you were talking about K-State earlier on. Ty, K-State ain't going to do a damn thing. And St. John's supremacy?
St. John's used to be relevant.
Not so much anymore.
I'd have to check.
They're fine. I think they're always they haven't been in the last couple years. They haven't, but I think like 3, 4, 5 years ago they were like in a nice rhythm getting into the tournament. I don't think they've made it last couple years. I don't remember picking them on my bracket.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
I remember them being in Denver for a March Madness where they were like a 4 or 5 and they shit the bed and lost in the first round. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Is March Madness in the mix for them?
I don't think so. Maybe I haven't looked. I don't think it was. I don't think it is. I haven't seen them on any of my lists. So yeah, I don't think so. Next up. All right.
St. John's, the 15th seed that made it to the Elite Eight. No. No.
No. All right. Well, Milwaukee's best. If you're here, Milwaukee's, we're talking about your boys. I haven't seen him in the chat, so I don't think he is. But if you're here, now's your chance. Golden Eagles, Marquette, tournament appearances, 34, 3 Final Fours, 1 championship in 1977. So you got to go back a little bit to find their last one. They lost last year to number 8 North Carolina in the first round. So 95-63 ended up being a part of it later on. Obviously, North Carolina making it pretty far in the tournament, as we all saw last year. So currently, let's talk about Marquette and where we're at.
Hello, Chris and Scott.
Hey, what's up, Milwaukee's? How we doing, my friend? Good to have you.
Milwaukee's. He's not a Marquette guy.
I went to Wisconsin, but I live in Milwaukee. I love me some Marquette, though.
Well, let me run through these stats real quick, Milwaukee's, and we're going to break this down, and we're going to get your thoughts on what you think about your boys for the tournament. So right now, 11th ranked in KenPom at this very juncture, and currently they are 24-6, leading the Big East standings at the very moment. So losses to Purdue, Mississippi State, Wisconsin, and Providence, and then number 12 Xavier, number 21 UConn. So not too bad of a record here based off of what they've been able to put on. Cam Jones, their point leader, is carrying them from the guard standpoint. He's very, very good. And honestly, I think this team is. No one really talks about them as much, but they are kind of flying a little bit under the radar. Not KenPom. Quadrant 1 wins. They are 5-5, so kind of average when it comes to that record when it comes the tournament teams and some of those bigger wins that you would expect. But overall, I think that let me see where they're ranked at in the bracketology at the moment. So Marquette currently is number 3. Yeah. So so Scotty, what do you think about
let's let Milwaukee dive in.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, I'm here. The thing with Marquette, coming into the season, they were picked 9th in the Big East. Number 9. I mean, they're a bunch of freshmen and sophomores, so that's a thing. And they have the Big East Player of the Year in their point guard, Kolek. Good point guard. I don't think he'll go to the NBA. He's going to go over to Europe, but he assists. I mean, they're a good team. A lot of talk around here is, was it a successful season? I mean, will they make it through the first weekend? I don't know. They won the Big East. They'll probably be a 2 seed in the tournament. But can they win it? Yes. Will they win it? Probably not. I find it hard to see them getting through the first weekend, but very successful season. I mean, they're young. They're very young.
I feel like, getting through the first weekend, they'll definitely, I have them getting out of the, if you're a top seed, I like Marquette. I think that they're going to be a team that can probably get out of the first round. And then, we'll see what the matchups look like with that. Like if they had a 3 seed, they match up with either the 6 or the 11, depending on, what ends up happening there. But I think that's when you start looking at maybe some, interesting matchups and some things that could potentially derail. But still, I think they can get maybe 1 or 2 rounds is where I see them at the moment. But again, we make these speculative kind of like, well, they can get this far. Until the brackets release, we can't really truly say how far they're going to make it or not. But I could see them winning a round or 2.
Yeah, listen, he's right. They are, like, their leaders are both sophomores with Cam Jones, and Tyler Kolek. And they only have like 1 senior even on their whole roster. So
young team.
They are young, overachieved quite a bit probably, and are playing out of their minds and playing great offensively. Usually when you have a young team, maybe you could just lock down on D. These guys but they haven't figured it out offensively. So they're going to have to shoot it well. I'm a little worried that they just don't play defense a lot. Their defense is not very good. That concerns me a little bit, but Marquette's been a great story. Winning the Big East is a great story for them. Not picked even close to doing that, and they kind of shocked the world. What they do in the tournament, you said it. We got to wait for the brackets. We got to see who they're matched up with. There's some matchups there. Are they going to win it all? Absolutely not. Let me just say that right now. But can they make a run? Yeah. Can they make second weekend? Of course. Of course.
I mean, 16-3 in the Big East is no small feat. I mean, not a lot of teams do that. They're young. They go on spells of like 6 minutes. They'll score like 3 points, and that's going to come back to bite them in the ass in the tournament. You can't do that. But could they win it all? Yes. Will they? No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just outside of the Big East because you want to see some other games where like outside of your conference.
Yeah, they lost to Marquette, or they lost to Wisconsin and Purdue.
Wisconsin and OT. Purdue was close. I don't take them off for that. They lost to Mississippi State as well.
Early. That was real early in the year.
Well, Purdue was earlier. All of that was early. Non-con is early, so it's. I just wanted to see outside of the Big East, like, did they play anybody and how did they fare? The games they played against big time opponents, they beat Baylor though. They beat Baylor. They destroyed Baylor.
Yep.
So they have that potential, and they beat Creighton as well.
Well, that's Big East.
Yeah, but I don't know. This team has potential to make a couple rounds and run, but I just don't see them as like a Final Four team by any stretch.
They have potential to go to the Final Four. Like I said, the right matchups, they can do it. Will they do it? No, probably not. But I don't think anyone would be surprised if they made a Elite Eight run.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
Well, Milwaukee's. It'll be fun to see how they end up. If they end up making a big run. But where do you? Well, I guess so. Knowing that you're a fan of Marquette, and knowing we don't know who they're going to be going up against, just where do you got them? Do you have them making to the just prediction now? Sweet 16, Elite 8.
I would say Sweet 16. Last year they got destroyed by North Carolina in the first round. I don't know how many of these players are even on the team. But yeah, if they get a 2 or 3 seed, they should win that game, which means they'll probably match up against a 6 seed. Depending on the 6 seed, they should win that game, and then all hands on deck. I can't tell you because I don't know who they're playing.
Yeah. No, that's fair. No, and that's Sweet 16. We'll chalk it up there. We'll see what happens. But hey, Milwaukee, thanks for swinging by, man. It was good to have you. We'll have you back on the
graphic. They lost to North Carolina. Well, there's no shame in that because they made the national title game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, their last couple.
But they lost by 32.
Yeah, their last couple of tournaments, they lost to North Carolina, and I think they lost every time they've been ousted from the tournament, the opponents that beat them have went far. So I'll give them that going through the bracket.
But they also lost by 32.
Yeah, they got they got hosed.
I mean, North Carolina didn't beat any other team by 32. I promise you that. In fact, you could combine their win totals throughout the rest of the tournament. I don't think it would equal 32.
I'm not going to lie. They got smoked.
Yeah.
Well, we'll catch you tomorrow night on the NBA show. I know you're always hanging out with me on that one. So appreciate you popping in.
Rec, I got, or not Rec.
Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow, and go Bucks. They won again tonight. Imagine
Milwaukee, that. I got ticks, so I will be in the arena for a little Nugs Bucks action. later on this month.
You got me an extra ticket too there, Scotty, right?
I don't know yet, Chris. I can't give out extra tickets yet. Hopefully, I hope to invite you.
Yeah.
I'm going to a nice Saturday night against the Bucks in Denver, March 25th, I believe.
Oh, good for you. Hopefully Giannis takes a night off because we already have it clinched.
I would actually argue, hopefully for you, Giannis takes it off. Then you have an excuse for why you lose that game.
Yeah.
Scotty, Chris, I'll be on tomorrow night. Have a good one, boys.
All right. Have a good one.
Have a good night.
There you go. Marquette Golden Eagles. All right. Last team of the night before we get to Scotty's coming in hot. We have the San Diego State Aztecs here. So we're going a little Mountain West Conference, and currently they are 23-6. They are the top of the Mountain West, and they are a team that has kind of been around the NCAA tournament in recent years. 16th ranked KenPom at the moment, and they're a team that you probably, they kind of fly under the radar a little bit because they're just in a smaller conference, right? 4-5 as their quadrant 1 wins at the moment as well. So bracketology currently has them. Let me double check where they have them on the bracketology slot. I want to say they have them. I thought it was a middle tier. Oh, a 5 seed. 5 seed. So you're looking at the 12-5 upset currently for San Diego State. They have them actually in Orlando playing Oral Roberts at the projected bracket. So San Diego State, they have stud Matt Bradley, running the guard role for the Aztecs, and he's been doing it at a high level, averaging 13.1 points. And as far as rebounds, Nathan Mensah is their big boy, getting 5.9 rebounds per game. But Scotty, what do you think about the Aztecs and their chance to potentially be maybe a dark horse in some of these brackets?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little worried. The Mountain West has kind of been pretty decent recently, but not really this year. So
it's a down year.
They're leading the Mountain West, so they're doing what they have to do. I don't know. KenPom has them ranked nicely, very, very, very nicely at 16th. Better on defense at 14th overall and 43rd overall. I think KenPom, I'm concerned about KenPom this year. I just feel like this is a year where everything's wide open, where you could be ranked 14th or 100 or like 34th with a couple of possessions almost. That's what concerns me about. Usually I trust KenPom a lot, and I'm worried about it this year. You talk about Matt Bradley. This is a team that's deep. They don't have a star. Matt Bradley's not a star at 13.1 and 4 rebounds. But they have Darian Trammell averaging 10. They have a ton of guys that play decent minutes and contribute. They're not fully figured out offensively. Like, their go-to is defensively, and they have to lock down and play great. I question, in a Mountain West Conference that never is great, but is actually down this year to most years, whether they face the competition needed to kind of be ready for the guys you're going to play. They did play Arizona. They lost by a lot. They lost against Arkansas, who's kind of like whatever. Lost to St. Mary's, lost to New Mexico. That was in conference play. Not a great non-con. When we look at it, they like, hey, you beat BYU, who actually ended up sucking. There's not a lot there. So for me, they're beating up against a conference that's not playing that well. I don't have high hopes for San Diego State. I probably wouldn't pick them to get out of the first round.
Yeah, San Diego State. I mean, if they're slotted in that five
or second round, I should say second round. They might win the first round.
I mean, slotted. I mean, if they're slotted in the 5-12 matchup, that's your ideal 5-12 upset, right? If they're the 5th seed going up against, or Roberts, or even some of these other 12 seeds that they could potentially slot in. I think that would be on the radar for one of mine. I think you're right. The Mountain West isn't exactly blowing the doors off anybody. I mean, Nevada, Utah State are typically teams that you kind of look out for that, aren't really having the best seasons either. New Mexico has been out for a while. I mean, this top to bottom, you're just not getting a lot of competition. And so, they've had some bad losses. And I just think that this is a team that is susceptible to potentially getting knocked out in the first or second round of this tournament. I don't see them going super deep into any tournament bracket that I'm going to be filling out. So what's up, W Kong? How we doing, my friend? KenPom was so nice when it was free. I mean, they do have just the basic free.
You can see the rankings. Diving into a team, can't do it.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, we like to rely on some of these, but yeah, it's just so it's a little bit different. But then it has a different feel to it based off of what we're seeing this year. But San Diego State, just be mindful of them. They might not be a team that you will rely on to make a deep run, or don't pick them to be your dark horse to make it all the way to the Elite Eight by any means. This is not that quality of a team to get deep into a tournament. So ceiling, I think maybe a round, maybe 2. That's about it. So anything else on this one, Scotty?
No.
All right. So there you go. That's our 5 teams that we are previewing for the March Madness tournament coming up here. Selection Sunday will be on March 12th. So make sure you guys tune in. We will be doing a little bit of, I will be doing a little bit of a bracket release party here on Twitch. So make sure you tune in, and we'll kind of break down our initial reactions of the brackets being released. So what's up, JK? How we doing, my friend? Welcome in. So guys, if you guys are here, hit that follow button. My name is Chris. This is Scott. We are your host for the Action Lab, live every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday nights. So make sure you tune in. Thursdays are our NBA nights, but otherwise our flagship nights. Wednesdays and Sundays are a little bit of everything, mainly March Madness. Now that it's getting down to the wire, we're getting to we're finding out who's winning each conference now. We're trying to get into, predictions on where people are going to slot in the tournament. So keep tuned in. We will be uploading. I already uploaded our previous rankings onto YouTube, or previous spotlights onto YouTube. So make sure you go check those out. If you could go to YouTube, give our March Madness spotlights a like and a follow, and if you're not subscribed to the channel on YouTube, and that would give us a big help. It helps spread our content to larger audiences. So let's see, socials. Go to YouTube, hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and go check out our videos that we've posted there